What's going on, everyone? It's Alex here from Aleks Physio. Today we're going to be going over the top 5 gluteus medius muscle activation exercises that you can perform. Welcome. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Alexander Kravich. I'm a physiotherapist in Vancouver, British Columbia. And today we're going to be going over the top 5 gluteus medius muscle activation exercises based on a research study report done by Reiman et al. In 2012. I'll link below for the article details. It's important to know that surface level EMG is only one of the ways that you can measure the amount of muscle activity and the efficacy of one exercise over the other. What works for one may not work for others. There are different ways to make exercises more challenging, but this is just what they had stated were the top 5. So number 1 is going to be the side lying hip abduction. It was ranked at 54% MVIC, which is Maximal Voluntary Isometric Contraction. For context purposes, any exercise that's greater than 40% of MVIC has the potential to create strength gains. So important to take that into consideration. This was at 54%. So we're going to start off by getting in a side lying position, and you're going to start with your leg slightly behind you, your top leg slightly behind you, and your hip slightly rotated out. And from here, you're trying to lift your leg up as high as you feel comfortable and then come down. You should feel that gluteus medius muscle working, which is located on the side of your hip, and then come back down. To make this easier, you can do it with your knee bent because that shortens the lever arm or makes the leg less heavy. And then you can also make it more challenging if you have an added load here, or if you have a band that's attached to the ground or to your other foot to give you more resistance. Okay, so again, this is more challenging when it's slightly out because your hip is straight versus if you're just doing it straight up and straight down with your hip bent, because then you're using some other muscles to help you in the movement. So number 1, side lying hip abduction. Exercise number 2 is going to be a pelvic drop. So the way this is going to work is you're going to stand on one leg and you're going to bend the other knee, hands on your hips, and you're just trying to allow that hip to drop on the leg that's off the ground and then up tall on that other leg. So let the hip drop, keep your knees straight on the leg that's on the ground, and stand up tall. Drop, tall. So again, you're working that leg that's on the ground. To make it a little bit easier, if your balance is more challenging or it's more difficult to keep your balance, you can just hold on to the wall like I should probably be doing right now, and tall. Let it drop and tall. Okay, and you can make this more challenging also by if you're holding a weight on the leg on the side where the leg is off the ground as well, so that you have to lift heavier against gravity. Okay, that's exercise 2, the pelvic drop, and the number was 57% MVIC. Number 3, the single leg deadlift at 58% MVIC. So the way this is going to look like is you're going to be standing on one leg. We're going to go on our left leg in this case, and you're bringing your right leg back behind you, hands on your hips and torso forward, and then up tall. Okay, so lean forward, torso forward. The leg that's on the ground, the knee is slightly bent. Bring your right leg back and drive through your left hip. And again, you can make this more challenging by having 1 dumbbell, 2 dumbbells, a barbell. You can change it up by having more tension, or slowing the tension, the time under tension, or increasing the time under tension, and then up tall. Okay, so again, lean forward, torso forward, right leg, bum back, leg back, and drive through. That's exercise 3, the single leg deadlift. Exercise 4 at 64% MVIC is the single leg squat. So again, what you're going to do with this one is you're going to try to stand on one leg. Your right leg you're going to put behind you, arms out as a counterbalance, and you're just going to try to squat as low as you feel comfortable and then drive straight up. And again, to make this more challenging, you can hold a dumbbell, you can hold a kettlebell. To make it easier, you can hold on to something for some support, like the TRX or the wall. And then you can make it easier by squatting to squatting to a chair. So again, one leg, touch, and then up tall. And again, obviously it's going to challenge your balance quite a bit. So even though a lot of people commonly associate squats with quads and glute max, it's also working your glute med because you're standing on one leg, and glute med plays that role in hip and pelvis stability. That's exercise 4, single leg squat at 64%. And exercise 5, or the exercise that has the highest level of gluteus medius muscle activity, side plank to neutral. Okay, that's at 74% of MVIC. So the way this is going to work is you're going to get in a side plank position, knees straight and hips straight. Okay, you're going to try to get in a side plank position, but then instead of just holding this here, you're going to actually drop your hips down and then come right back up. Again, so instead of this just being a hold, you're actually going through the motions. So it becomes more of a dynamic movement versus a static one. And as you're coming down, you want to be mindful that you're not bending your hips as you come down to make it easier. You're trying to keep your hips nice and straight throughout. Touch, and then up tall. Touch, and up tall. And again, to make this more easier, you can do it with your knees bent and knees stacked and feet stacked to shorten the lever arm. You can make it harder by doing it on your hand, because now you have more distance to go through. It all just depends on your level, what you can tolerate, but the important thing is that you start at one level, what feels comfortable for you, and then build up off of it as your strength and as your function continues to improve. And especially from a prehab perspective, it just depends on what stage of recovery you're at, and which exercise is appropriate, which one isn't. But just from a general muscle activation perspective, those are the top 5 exercises based on MVIC percentage for your gluteus medius muscle activation. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have you done any of these exercises in the past? Let me know below how they've been, and do you have any questions about performing any of them? Hopefully you found value in this content and in my video. If you do find value, please consider checking out some of my other videos. I have over 450 videos on various physio, exercise, and medical related topics. And if you still find value, please consider subscribing to my channel. It really allows my channel to grow and allows me to reach a wider audience. Until then, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.